What's up guys, this is Yacineygo. So in this video I wanted to show you guys and prove to you why X-Ryzeal is going to be a really problematic deck once we get Alliance Insight, because the new card Star X-Ryzeal is extremely annoying and it makes it so that Duo Drive doesn't even have to resolve anymore. So even if you hold your Ogre, Veiler, Imperm, Mourner, Ash for the Duo Drive, it doesn't change anything. They have an inherent way to search for the field spell other than Duo Drive, so one hand trap may not be enough to beat them, and the Nibiru was already extremely easy to counter because of the field spell. So yeah, you can draw literally 2 hand traps against this deck and actually still lose to a 1-card combo. But yeah, before we go any further, you already know the drill, my man. Smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And also, huge shout out to my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet. You can find them both on my website, yacineygo.com. The link will always be at the very top of the description box below. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so combo number 1 is what you can do with one single X-Ryzeal, and this is post Alliance Insight. So obviously, we're going to be playing this out a little differently from how we are playing it right now. So yeah, first things first, send the Twins of the Eclipse, search your sword, and then search for the ice, and actually normal summon the ice right away in order to summon the Star X-Ryzeal on summon number 4, which is going to be setting the field spell. There is no way your opponent can really ogre anything that you've summoned so far, because regardless, summon number 5 is going to be an Xyz monster, and there is no way your opponent can really prevent you from getting to an Xyz while you have, you know, X-Ryzeal cross active. So yeah, there's like Ghost Ogre plus Nibiru is actually like the worst combination of hand traps that you can draw, and it's actually really funny that I say this, but next format, if you draw Ogre plus Nib, and your opponent just goes normal, well, summon X-Ryzeal or activate 7 Tachyons, activate 7 Ascension, you basically just hand loop yourself for 2, because it is not going to change anything. But yeah, flip the field spell and then go for the Duo Drive, summon number 5, and then you can make a Starleech Photon Blast now. So before you use the effect, so that the Ghost Ogre doesn't even have to be checked by the X-Ryzeal cross, it's just not even going to have an impact, because Starleech Photon Blast Dragon prevents the monsters with 2000 or more with attack by being either targeted by card effects, but also destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So yeah, if your opponent didn't want a Veiler or Imperm before, now it's going to be completely too late. And once you use the effect of Duo Drive to detach 2, your opponent also can't chain Imperm or whatever. So even if your opponent wants to like do it before, it's not going to work. Your opponent has to really do it on the summon of Duo Drive, and not a lot of people will really think about doing that. But it's definitely something that you can do. And also remember, by the way, that the field spell is, it's a little weird, because it actually has a drawback that prevents you from Xyz summoning with a monsters with the exact same name as a card you control. So if your Duo Drive gets stopped on summon, you actually cannot go for another Duo Drive. You are going to have to go for like a detonator. So actually, that is probably the best play that your opponent can do. Even though it's not really intuitive, a lot of people will not really think about that, and a lot of people will probably just wait until you use the hand trap, well, the card itself. But Ash would work here, because you're not really trying to, you know, cross negate an Ash, but whatever. Anyways, now we're gonna be going into the node X-Ryzeal, revive back the ice X-Ryzeal, and then make a detonator there, and then attach back the Twins of the Eclipse, and we're gonna call it a turn. This also could have been like a Mirror Logic aggregator, just in case you feel like you may not have all the rank 4s in the grave. The Ghost Ogre was doing absolutely nothing, because it just gets completely checked by the Photon Blast, and then the Nibiru gets checked by the field spell. So yeah, you're really just losing nothing in the process, and you're making a completely absurd amount of disruptions. So yeah, this is way too much for your opponent to really have a chance of beating this. It's really the ridiculous that one card can play through as many hand traps at the same time. Okay, so this combo, this time we don't have X-Ryzeal, but we do have Ice X-Ryzeal, and obviously in a world where your opponent just imperms the Ice X-Ryzeal, you're not going to be doing anything. But come on, we're not we're not stupid here. I mean, this is something that you can and should do every now and then. When your hand is garbage, you have to hand trap the first thing and just pray to God that it works out. But if your hand is pretty good, you usually let your opponent play for a little bit. But yeah, in a world where your opponent is trying to hold the Imperm for the Duo Drive, look at how this is going to play out. By the way, with the Infernal Flame Banshee, there's a couple of things you can do sequencing-wise. So maybe your Sword X-Ryzeal would want to search an X-Ryzeal, and the Banshee would search the Star X-Ryzeal. But the best way to respect the Ghost Ogre is actually by searching the Star X-Ryzeal off of the sword, and then summoning the Star X-Ryzeal first, and then get your field spell, and then use the Banshee to search for the X-Ryzeal. And the reason why I recommend that is because if your opponent had a Ghost Ogre to stop the Banshee, and you committed to searching, well, the X-Ryzeal maybe, you're not going to be doing that much after that. Like, you're sure you're going to search like a Star X-Ryzeal, but that means that you actually play into Nibiru. So that means that you lose to Ogre and Nib. But if you do the sequencing that I'm showing right now, you actually don't lose to any hand traps. Well, I mean, you lose to like the basic bullshit, like Veiler on the Ice X-Ryzeal if you have nothing else. But that doesn't work because, I mean, that doesn't count because obviously, like, there's so many ways to punish your opponent at this point. But yeah, the Banshee now can search for the X, and then you dump Aggregator, you can Shin Block so that the node RAZYAL is guaranteed. And then you make the Duo Drive gets stopped when you're trying to search, and that doesn't change jack shit to your life because you can just go, okay, Twins of the Eclipse, summon the node, and then send the twins, revive back the sword, try to respect Bestials as much as you possibly can, and then revive back the Duo Drive, and then make the Detonator attach back the Twins of the Eclipse, and then draw one card off of the field spell. So basically what you're doing is that you're guaranteeing the monster negate off of Cross, and also the Detonator is going to be able to destroy 4 cards, because, well, I mean, it's 4 interruptions. So yeah, there's 5 interruptions total through a hand trap, which is really good. This is insane, the fact that you can do all of this through Imperm on your Duo Drive, because at the current moment, if you get Impermed on Duo Drive, you're not doing much of anything. You're really not. You're making a Detonator that can pop 3 times, that's it. So you're missing out on 2 disruptions, and this is just a 1-card combo. Obviously, it gets much better, because if you don't get stopped, then your field spell is searched by the star, and then your Duo Drive is searching the spell, the plugin, as well as the trap card. So this time, you can actually get all the RAZYAL spells and traps. It's not like you can... You only pick for like 1 or 2. So the trap card is actually going to see even more play once we get, you know, Star RAZYAL next format. Okay, so for the deck profile, no, I'm not playing the trap, but you definitely can play it. It's just that at the moment, we don't really have a ban list, so it's honestly not really like this deck profile even matters this much, but whatever, a lot of things will change. I'm assuming that X-Ryzeal is going to get limited. I'm also assuming that Bonfire is going to get limited, and in a world in which this will happen, you will have 4 less starters, which means that you're probably going to have to play 3 7th Tachyon with 2 or 3 copies of 7th Ascension. Some people are actually choosing to max, like, consistency completely. Like, if you saw, like, the winning deck list from YCS Las Vegas, that's what they're doing. You know, they're playing a lot of consistency cards, and they're also playing the Shark Engine on top, which, honestly, I don't really think you necessarily need. And they're only playing, like, 12 hand traps, which is what I'm doing right now, but I'm also playing a lot of non-engine board breakers. I'm playing all the Mochummies because Pearlia is pretty good against this deck. And even against Malice, they're gonna start losing way harder to Pearlia because, you know, now they play the Ad Ignister monsters, they play the Malice Hair, which summons from the hand. So yeah, that's, you know, they got their normal summon, the Hair, the 2 Ad Ignister monsters. That can be a potential 4 draws off of Pearlia if they just summon every single monster, which obviously is not gonna happen, but it could theoretically happen at the very least, which was, you know, much better than what we had, I mean, what we currently have, where they basically just summon from the hand once and that's kind of it. Except if they have a Bestial monster. But yeah, Furos obviously is always going to be a must. And then Imperm and Ash, those cards are no-brainers, right? Ash, you can use it defensively to stop the Chummies. And you can, I mean, yeah, use aggressively and then defensively to hurt the opponent. And then obviously Metal Chonis, Book of Moon. Book of Moon is incredible in this deck. It's kind of like a cross-out and a board breaker at the same time. You know, you get Imperm, Valor, whatever on your Duo Drive when it hurts. You just go Book of Moon, flip that shit face down, still resolves. Absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, Metal Tronus is another extremely broken card. Not only at stopping the Detonator, but also getting some stuff going. You can afford to brick and actually still play the game with this deck. And only 2 copies of Triple Tactic Talent, but if you want to play 3, then I recommend playing over 40 just so that you're not going to be seeing duplicates too often. And for the RAZYALs, it's kind of obvious, right? You're trying to max out on the good ones, and then we're only playing 1 node as well as 1 star RAZYAL. This card it's pretty much never going to be more than a 1-of just because... To summon this card, you have to already be playing the game. Like, you can technically normal summon it, but I can't really think of, like, many situations where this is really gonna come up, except if you have, like, Sword RAZYAL. Then you can go, okay, yeah, normal, special, effect, you play the game from there just a little bit, but whatever. Even then, you can argue, like, maybe not even normal summoning this card can make sense just because you can, like, still special summon it from the hand once you know, get a rank 4 on the field, but whatever. So that's it for my main deck. Again, it's very subject to change, obviously, just because the ban list is going to change everything. Once we do get it, you can count on me to make an updated version of it. For the extra deck, I think most of it is going to stay the same. So the Aggregator, double Twins of the Eclipse, double Detonator, double Duo Drive, Baguska, Excite on Knight, Photon Blast Dragon. This card is remarkable, especially when this card has 2,000 or more attacks, so that it can't itself be targeted, I believe. Also protects itself, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, if you can also have like 3 material Duo Drive in order to make the Abyss Dweller 2000 attack. That way, if your opponent is playing Mermail, you can't even use Exizon Core to target it because now it has too much attack and cannot be targeted. So that is something that you can keep into consideration if you want to insta-win against the Mermail deck. Yeah, finally we've got a Light Dragon at Ignister, which is great removal. Tornado Dragon, this card can easily be replaced by something else. Infernal Flame Banshee, which is going to be a must once we get this card. And of course, the 7 Tachyon target, that is number 104 Masquerade. If you want to replace Tornado Dragon with the Archfiend Seraph or Ragna Infinity for the 7 Tachyon to search Artifact Lancia, you are more than welcome to do so. The side deck is also subject to change, but I mean, triple Lancia is going to be there pretty much regardless. There's no way Malice gets crippled. Drill and Logbird can be a bunch of things. It can be Molchemy Meows, it can be Ghost Bell, it can be Bestials, it can be Burial from a different dimension, it can be so many things. But then Lightning Storm, Duster, like these 3 cards, I think they're extremely good. You probably want to play them. They're so incredible in the mirror match. Gravekeeper's Inscription is one heck of a beast. It is so broken against Malice because of the fact that you can prevent both players from banishing cards from grave. So even if you're going second, it's still a really good board breaker. You just prevent them from using White Binder to banish anything. And then their card just feels so much worse. Even if they have like infinite Bestials in their hand, doesn't really change anything. And you can safely OTK through like so many of their interruptions now because they don't really affect you anymore. And also, if you have like Gravekeeper's Inscription and an Ash for their MTP07 and a way to like prevent the Cryptor from banishing a card on your field, it's really hard to lose. Honestly, it really is. Like, this card is broken. And also, if you go first, broken, it's insane against like Fiendsmith based strategies, which again, I'm assuming will get crippled in the next ban list, but there is also a way in which they just get limited. But regardless, Gravekeeper's Inscription is probably going to be an absolute necessity in the pure build. And finally, 3 copies of Solemn Strike, which I also think is the best going first card. You can argue Solemn Judgment is also really good, especially in this deck, because you can Judgment the Lightning Storm and Duster. That way, your Field Spell, Plugin, and Plasma Hole will not get blown up by Lightning Storm and Duster. That's it for this quick little video right here. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.